Drop it.
I apologize for that. Yeah, I kind of got cut out there. So, yeah, again, can only record up to 10-minute segments. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but whatever. So anyway, what you want to do, again, like I said, you want to have really good textures, because if you don't have textures, then it's going to look really, really weird. And you also want to know different effects for the texture. Now, before, what I would do, I would just do a simple one. I would just add some 3D text, and I'd add like a light, going around, like a neon light border kind of thing. And then I'd add a little simple gradient, and there you go. And maybe a couple of brushes behind the text. And it was getting really, really boring, you know. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to get some text. So I just went around to DeviantArt. I was just Googling for text or textures. I was Googling for textures and everything, and I was finding, the grunge textures look really sick. So, I mean, there's all these all these textures out there that look amazing, you know. So, what you want to do, I will pick a nice little grunge texture. Let's try this one. This should look pretty sick. Alright. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, this might be a part 3 of this too. I don't know, depending on if I can upload more than 15 minutes. So, yeah. Alright, so we're going to move this over here, okay? And don't worry if it's overlapping the border of the green here. You'll see what I mean by, don't worry about that in a little bit. So, we're going to do that, and we're going to scale it. You could keep the aspect ratio if you wanted to. Mainly, that's for, like, so it doesn't look kind of pixelated, not pixelated, but, like, just warped. But in this case, it's perfectly fine, because all this is going to be doing, you're going to overlay this. Okay, so pretty much you have right here in the mode, this is the layer mode, you have normal, dissolve, multiply, divide, screen, overlay, dodge, burn, hard light, soft light, grain, extract, grain, merge, difference, addition, subtraction, darken only, lighten only, hue, saturation, color, and value. Okay, there are a lot of those that make this look really weird. And there are a lot of those that make it look ugly, and there are a lot of those that make it look that cool, but it's somewhat weird. I don't know how to explain it, So what you want to do is, during a gradient kind of thing, when there's a gradient behind this, hit overlay, and it adds the texture behind that. So you get that really grainy looking, just blah, kind of texture. And it looks really good sometimes if you, like, duplicate each of these. See, like, you can duplicate that, maybe. And then if you can duplicate this, or even better, that looks a little too intense there for me. But what you can do is add more than one texture on top of that. So we're going to Control-Alt-O. Let me get a drink of Mountain Dew. Gotta love Mountain Dew. And then we're going to go back to textures yet again. And again, this is a lot of tutorials on how I do my graphics. This is mainly a tutorial on that. Speed arts, this is pretty much showing what I do to create my speed arts. Like, this is the process I go through. I'll just sit here and I'll just look. My eyes are just staring at this, and I'm going literally like this fast through, like, the textures, and I'm just sitting here. What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like? So then, so we got that texture. And then, you know what, this one's a little brighter, so let's try this one here. So then we're going to do the same thing as we did that we did for the other one. We're going to go right-click, add alpha channel. All right, and if you don't add an alpha channel, if you have to erase some of it, like to create like a border, it's going to leave a white background, and it's going to look really ugly. So, yeah, so what you're going to do now is take this and do the same exact thing, scale it. Okay, again, you can keep the aspect ratio if you want. I'm not going to, because that's just how awesome I am. Okay. Alrighty, so there you go. And then, same exact thing. Now you can try a screen. That's really just going to give it a really moldy looking look, and it's going to look ugly. So, not only that, if it does that, you could also lower the opacity too. And if you notice, the lower you get it, it kind of brightens this up and gives it a weird type of contrast to it. It's kind of weird. See, like, I don't know how to explain it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to overlay. Okay. Now, again, that's a little too intense, so we're going to lower the opacity, even though we just set it on overlay. Okay. And we're going to heighten it up just a little bit here. So, I mean, yeah, it's a simple little thing right there. Okay, so now, once you have that, you can, like I said, you can add more textures behind there if you want it really, really textured. You can also duplicate this again if you want it brighter or if you want it darker. You can take that and you could just lower the opacity of this and it'll, you know, create less of a shadow. It'll just create a little glare type effect maybe, you know. And then what you could also do, sorry, I was trying to adjust my chair height there. What you could also do is duplicate this text layer again, okay? And you might see this on a lot of backgrounds too. They'll duplicate this text layer and they'll do one of two things, okay? Let me just move this down. I would just drag it. You can drag it, but for some reason, whenever I'm in like a tutorial or speed art, if you notice that I do this a lot, I'm trying to drag the layers down because I'm in a hurry, and it's not letting me, so I'm like, okay, you know what, you're a douchebag. So, yeah. You can do one of two things, though. You can duplicate this layer, drop this layer down, and then you can go ScriptFoo. It's a different type of plugin. Again, you can watch tutorials on that, or I'll put a tutorial up on what that is. And you can, or filters it is. Filters and then motion blur. Now the motion blur gives it like a weird type of, it's almost like a glow. Like it's weird. It's like a glow, but if you put it on radial, it's like a that. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, that just looks well, you'd be surprised. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit here, sorry. But you'd be surprised on what that can do. Like on certain text, I'm not saying all text it looks cool on. I mean, some of them are just like, you know, kind of iffy, but some of those, it looks really, really cool. So we're going to let this load up. I'm only going to do this for one side, not both, because it's going to take forever. Alright, it's came out. You can do this. But like I said, it gives it like a weird outer glow, I guess, if you want to say that. Like a reflection, almost. Yeah, let's let this load up, and I'll be able to show you what I mean. Boom. Okay. Did I even drop this? Yeah, I dropped it behind there. Okay, so we're going to try and duplicate this. Might be need to be a little stronger. There you go. So, oh, I forgot. No, I did. No. Wait, did I? Oh, I forgot to, hold on. Okay, there you go. So, there you go. And I mean, like I said, it gives it like a glare type of effect. I mean, it's pretty cool on some text. And this one, it looks, it looks pretty legit, but it's not the greatest. I wouldn't stick with it. So, you know, that again, you could do that. You'll see a lot of designers do that. Or what you can also do, actually, I shouldn't have. I'll just duplicate it again. So you're going to duplicate it, drop it down, and another thing you can do is take the scale tool. This time you want to keep the aspect ratio of it. Okay. We're just going to pull it out this way. And this way. Okay. And we're just going to pull it out towards the top. And we're going to pull it out a little bit more like that. Up. And we're going to pull it up a little bit like there. Okay. So then that's the scaling right there. Okay. And then we're just going to drop this down. Keep the same height. 588 is where you clicked it at. We're gonna pull it up a little bit there. Okay, so then right there, and then what you can do is you can set it on a screen. Okay, which that's actually still too bright, but you could also lower the opacity of it. Okay, and it gives it that weird, it gives it like the reflecting off the surface, kind of like a shadow almost. So that's what you'll see a lot of designers do that too. And then I'll just keep that for that one side. That's it. And then the last very important thing I can think of for maybe not most, but a majority of backgrounds and any type of speed art, optical flares. You will not, I guarantee you will not see well, I mean, you'll see some, but it's I don't know. I've not seen that many without optical flares. A lot of speed arts, you need a good optical flare here and there. Even if it's a small one, even if it's something that's like barely noticeable, like something like this, you know. It's, you know, the optical flares make things look really, really, really just